everybody, I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you are new here, my name is Melissa and I am a second grade teacher from Michigan. So today I am coming at you guys with a fresh face because on Instagram some of you had mentioned that you would be interested in seeing my favorite products to wear while I'm teaching that I feel like last a long time and get me through my sweaty classroom and just stay for a long day at work. So I thought I would just sit and get ready with you guys as I put them on and explain them so you can kind of see what they look like. Now keep in mind as I go through these products, they are shades and colors that have catered to my skin tone and my preferences, but what I did try to do is choose products that I felt like had a really good shade range and variety, so that way if you are like, ooh, I like that, but it is not the right color for me, you can look and see the other shade ranges and kind of pick out what is best for you or pick out a similar product in a different tone so that way it flatters your skin tone. I also tried to include a variety of drugstore and high-end products so that way if you prefer buying one or the other you have some options. I really did lean towards the drugstore though because honestly I just feel like a lot of the products are really awesome, and if you don't have to pay for a high-end product, why would you? Unless, you know, you want to treat yourself, in which case I fully support it. But anyways, a lot of these can be found at Target or Ulta or Sephora or at their respective websites. One more thing I will mention before I get started is that I'm going to be linking all of the items that are available on Amazon to my storefront. So if you would like to check out that link below, you can click and sort through these products and kind of see if there's anything you would be interested in purchasing. So the first thing I like to do before I put makeup on is to prep my skin. So what I do is I just tone with a little bit of witch hazel in the mornings, and then I like to put on some sunscreen, and this is the Sunbum 50 SPF for your face. I really like this. I just started wearing sunscreen on my face recently and I should have been doing it this whole time, but it is super important to protect your skin against the sun even in the winter. So this is one that I really recommend. I've had no trouble with breaking out or being super oily, and I feel like it sinks into the skin really nicely. So depending on my mood after that, I will use a primer. Now I say depending on my mood because I do not always use a primer. I feel like sometimes it's just a step in the morning that I will skip if I am low on time or if I feel like it's just not necessary for that day. But if I do use a primer, I usually gravitate towards one of these two. So my favorite is probably the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. If you can see, I have used almost all of this container. So this one I really like because it is not too matte, it is not too glowy, it's just a nice tacky base for your makeup, and I do feel like it makes it last longer. And also with the kind of pinky tone that you saw, for me it evens out my redness a little bit. So this is probably my favorite. But if you are someone who just wants to feel like nice and plump and hydrated in the morning, then I really like the Catrice Prime and Fine Fresh It Up Moisturizing Primer. It is really nice, it's smooth, it feels cooling. I don't know how much it really does for my makeup, but for my skin, it adds a nice plumpness and glow. So since I'm not really worried about my makeup lasting super long today, I think I'm going to use this one. So the second step for me is a little bit backwards from most people. So a lot of people like to put their foundation on first and then put a concealer underneath to brighten. But for me personally, I've found that what I like the best is when I use my concealer before my foundation and put that bright layer underneath. And I don't know if this will work for you, but it's just something that I really enjoy. So I picked up 3 different concealers from my collection that I thought would be good for a variety of needs, and I will show you them now. So the first one I like is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer. This one is really good if you like more of a thin and liquidy concealer. It is one of my favorites. The next one is more for like a medium thickness or coverage, and this one's probably my favorite. It is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. I wear the shade Porcelain 320, so one of the very lightest ones. This one I just really like because I feel like it is thick enough to brighten and just really look nice on the eyes, but not too thick where it looks cakey or anything. And then the third one that I like is the Tarte Shape Tape. This is the high-end, more expensive one. I use the shade 12B, Fair Beige, and this one is really nice if you have spots to conceal with concealer. Most of the time, I just use it under my eyes to brighten, so this one does get a little bit like crepey and thick under the eyes, so I'd probably recommend the other two if all you are using it for is to kind of highlight. So since I said this one is my favorite, I'm going to use it today. So now that I am brightened up, it is time to go in with foundation. So I picked 3 favorites again to show you. All 3 of these are drugstore foundations. I personally do not purchase high-end foundations because I think there are so many good options at the drugstore. I will say some of these are a little more pricey than others, so you can still kind of find higher prices at the drugstore, but I think these are all really, really good. If you are someone who likes luminous and glowy skin, I recommend the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the Dewy. So I use the shade Rose Ivory, and this foundation is like so inexpensive. It is about $4 to $6, and I've actually seen it on sale on Amazon before for like $2 depending on what shade you get. So since I am very pale, I have one of the more unpopular shades, so I've gotten this for like $2 before, but I really prefer this to the original. This is really nice and gives a great glow to the skin. If you like a more natural coverage and just like a medium finish, then I really love the L'Oreal Infallible foundation. This is my favorite foundation by far. Right now, I have the shade 400, which is my winter shade because I ran out of my summer shade, but I really, really love this foundation. This is a little more pricey at about $12 to $14 per bottle, but it is my favorite of the 3. And finally, if you like more of a matte full coverage foundation, I recommend the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. So this one looks really, really nice for a matte foundation. I don't feel like it's too drying, and I feel like it really stays in place and gives a good layer of coverage. So even though I only have my summer shade, I think I am gonna use the Infallible. So what I do is I just pump like 1.5 little pumps on my little beauty blender. This one is already damp, and as you can see, I have used it for quite a while because it has a lot of foundation. So I might look a little bit ghostly because this is just a touch too light, but we're gonna do it anyways. What I like to do next is go in with a little bit of powder so I can lock in some of the areas that might get a little oily throughout the day. So what I've been using lately is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder. I don't really have that much of a preference with powders. I feel like they all kind of do the same job. So this one is a loose powder, but a lot of times I'll use pressed powder for this too. I do really like this one though, like it does do a little bit of brightening. So I have been a fan of this lately, but I just have this little Real Techniques brush and I just dip it in there. And I like to go under the eyes and also just around the nose and on the tip of the nose because that's like the place where I am most likely to have my makeup breakup. And then sometimes I will also just, you know, pat a little bit on the forehead so that way it does not get too shiny. After that, I like to go in with a bronzer. So this time I have 4 bronzers, so I'm gonna talk through them very quickly so that way you can kind of form an opinion, hopefully fast. But I feel like with bronzers, there's a lot of different variations and types that people like. So let me show you all 4. First, if you are someone who likes a matte bronzer, I really like the Too Faced chocolate bronzers. I have the shade Milk Chocolate, so it is pretty light, but it is completely matte and it's really, really pretty and blends very nicely. So this one is a more high-end price tag. If you like more of a satin finish, my favorite is the Too Faced Butter Bronzer. I just use the shade Bronzer. This one is so, so pretty, and it smells like coconuts, and it is just really, really buttery and smooth. If you like more of a shimmery or glowy bronzer, my favorite is the L'Oreal Lumi Bronzer. This one is giant, but it has a nice amount of like shimmer to it a little bit without being glittery, so I really like this for a glowy bronzer. And then finally, if you are someone who likes a cream bronzer, I am obsessed with this Milk makeup stick. It is at Sephora, and it is just like a giant like 1 ounce tube of bronzer, and it's just so nice, and it is not too dark. They do have, I think they only have 2 shades, so it's not the most like inclusive shade range, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I do know that the shade Baked right here seems to work for a lot of skin tones. They also have a little mini size of it that's about this big, that's only $15, where I think this one is closer to $30. So I am feeling a nice satin glow today, so I'm going to use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So now that I am, still pale, but at least a little more glowy looking, I am going to go in with some blush. I have 3 different blushes to show you. So the first one is if you like a glowy blush, I really recommend Milani blushes. This one is in the shade Berry Amour. Oh, the little brush just fell out. But this one is really, really pretty and gives a nice glow to the cheeks, which glowy blushes are my favorite, so that is what I prefer. However, if you do like a matte blush, I really like these Cover FX blushes. They kind of look like little soap bars, which is funny, but these are available at Ulta and Sephora, and they are a little bit on the pricier side, but you do get 2 different blushes in here. So you get a matte side, and then you also get a glowy like blush topper. So what I usually like to do is lay down this one first and then kind of dust this one at the higher points of my face. So I really do like these. This one is in the shade Pink Dahlia. And then if you are a fan of cream or liquid blushes, my favorite are these Flower Beauty Blush Bombs. What you do is you just squirt a little bit. I usually like to do it on my hand, and then I just kind of rub it in with either my finger or a blush brush. So these are really nice. These are my 2 favorite shades. I have Pinched and Bubbly, and I like to use them on their own, but it's also kind of fun to mix them and see if you can get like a slightly different color combination. For today, I am just going to use the Milani in Berry Amour. So next up, I like to do my brows, and I have pretty thick brows for the most part, so I don't really fill them in every day. If I do, I just use the Anastasia Brow Wiz and draw like a couple different strokes, but most of the time I just use an eyebrow gel. The one that I really like is the Colourpop Brow Gel, and it is a tinted one. I use the shade Blonde because my hair is pretty much blonde. So basically it's just a little tube with like a little spoolie, and I just brush it through my brows to kind of fluff them up and keep them in place throughout the day. Up next, I like to do a little bit of highlighter on the high points of my cheeks. So I have a couple different highlighters to show you. The first one is my absolute favorite, but it is expensive, and normally I don't buy expensive highlighters, but I got this one during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, so it was half off, and now I can't go without it. It is the Nabla highlight, and oh, look how pretty that is. Mine is in the shade Ozone. So this is called a skin glaze, and I really, really like it. I think it's $24, but I got mine for half off, so it was only $12, but this highlight is beautiful, and it is so finely milled, so it just makes your skin look so smooth and beautiful. One that I find very comparable to that, if you don't want to spend a ton of money, is the Milani Afterglow highlight. So these are the Milani strobe light highlighters, and I have the shade Afterglow. I have a few other shades as well, but this one is also really beautiful. It's not quite as fine as the Nabla, but on the skin it still looks really pretty. And then last but not least, the most affordable highlight option that I have found is the e.l.f. highlight. This is the shimmer highlighting powder in the shade Starlight Glow. So this one is really, really pretty. It's a little more golden than the other two, but on the skin it looks really subtle, and I've used this one a lot. If you can kind of tell, like, there's a big dent in there. Since I raved about the Nabla, I feel like I just have to use it. That gives a really nice glow, and I think it's so pretty. Now, I don't usually do eyeliner. I used to like every day, but I've just kind of gotten lazy and haven't felt like doing eyeliner at this point. But when I did, I only used liquid liner. So I don't have a stick or a gel to recommend, but I do love the NYX Epic Ink Liner. So if you are looking for a liquid liner, this is the one I recommend. It has a really nice tip, and it's really good to just like get a little wing. It's super easy to use. So when I do wear eyeliner, this is what I wear, and that would be my next step. After that would be mascara. So I've gotten a lot of questions about what mascara I use, which is such a compliment, thank you. And I have to tell you guys, I have found like the best mascara in existence ever. And I feel like not a lot of people know about it, but it is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. Now, this is like a $25 mascara, which I used to say like there's no way I will not pay that much for mascara. But what's cool about this one is it is a like fiber tubing mascara, so it builds like a little tube around your eyelash instead of just like coating it. And it's really weird if you've never used one before. It kind of like sounds like a weird concept, but it really works. It makes them look so good. It's just when you wash your face at night, like it'll come off and look like, I don't know, it'll almost look like your eyelashes are coming out, but they're not. It's just the tube around them. So it comes out looking like a little lash instead of smudging. Like I said, used to say I would not pay that much for a mascara, but this is amazing, and it really does look like you have like lash extensions almost. I mean, not quite that extreme because, you know, it's, I don't know, nothing can fake that in my opinion, but it is so, so nice. And what's really cool about this company is that if you buy one of their makeup products, they will donate one to a woman in need. So it's also a great cause. So at least like when I'm spending that $25, I feel good knowing that it is also helping someone else. If you do not want to pay that much for a mascara, trust me, I feel you, so I'm going to show you my two favorite drugstore mascaras. Usually I mix these together and put one down first and then the other on top. So I a lot of times will start out with Maybelline's The Falsies, just the normal, not waterproof, I hate waterproof mascara, but just the normal falsies, and I will put that on as a base because it kind of makes the lashes fuller. And then to lengthen and separate, I really like Maybelline's Colossal Cat Eye. So these two together is my favorite combination, but separately they're also really nice. I am going to use the Thrive one today though, so that you guys can see. Keep in mind this tube is starting to get to the end of its life. I am gonna have to throw it out soon. So we'll see. It might take me a while to like work with the lashes because it's a little clumpier than what it used to be. Like, hi, can we just appreciate the difference? Isn't it amazing? I'm obsessed with this mascara, you guys. It's so good. It looks so good, right? Like, this is just the best mascara ever. So I did not put on eyeshadow today, but I do want to recommend just a couple of things to you guys if you really do like eyeshadow. And first I'm going to recommend just a couple of brands, not necessarily these specific palettes. So the first brand I recommend is Colourpop. They are super affordable and have beautiful eyeshadows. This is one of my favorites, Blush Crush, but I feel like if you have a deeper complexion than me, you might not like this one. And also I know a lot of people don't love pink eyeshadow because some people say it makes them look sickly, but if you do, this is beautiful. And I think these are only about $12 to $14. So definitely check out Colourpop. They have so many palettes. And then my favorite high-end eyeshadow is Anastasia Beverly Hills, so I'm just showing the Norvina palette. This is obviously more colorful than what I would go on an everyday basis, but the shadows are so pretty, and again, they have lots of options, so I definitely recommend their eyeshadow if you haven't tried it before. And then these next two are more of specific palette recommendations. So the first one, I have had this forever. It is Be Up. I literally wore it on my wedding, and it is the Lorac Malibu palette. So they still have this, and I'm gonna link it on Amazon. So check it out if you are like a basic, like one look every day, same kind of thing, because this is perfect. So it is a little tiny palette, and they have some sparkly shades, but they also have a matte pink, a kind of shimmery highlight shade, and a bronzer shade. So you really could use this to bronze, use these kind of for blush, use these for your eyes, but what I like to do is I like to throw this one on my eye and this one in the crease, and then just kind of use some of these other ones too. So this is so pretty, you guys. It's $24, which is a little pricey, but for the amount I've used it, it is 100% worth it. And then finally, this is the brand Persona Cosmetics, and this is their Identity palette. I just got this one recently, but I'd been wanting it forever, and it's definitely worth the hype. So it's marketed as the perfect palette for brown eyes, but I do not have brown eyes, and I still think it is beautiful. Look at how pretty that is. That is just so neutral and nice. I can't wait to wear this in the fall. I know I'm holding it super weird, but I'm trying to cover up the mirror so it doesn't blind you guys. But like, look at those shimmers, how pretty. So I definitely really recommend this palette. It is a little more pricey, but definitely worth it. So on to lips, I'm going to show you my favorite brand of lipsticks, which are these Almay lipsticks. They are the hashtag lip vibes. And I have two colors here. I have Worry Less, which is a kind of mauve-y toned pink, and then I have Go Wild, which is a pretty true nude for me. So I really recommend this formula. They have a lot of colors. They even have some like fun, crazy colors. So definitely check them out. I'll link these two specific ones below in case you're interested in these. For lip gloss, I have to shout out Rihanna's Fenty Beauty lip gloss. This one is the shade Diamond Milk, and it is really nice. These are kind of pricey, but they're huge. They will last you forever. So I have this shade, and then I also have the shade Fussy, which is a pink color. I really like that one, but these are awesome. But my favorite lip glosses are honestly from the drugstore because I love lip glosses that leave like a minty and kind of tingly feeling on your lips. They claim to be lip plumping, which like maybe a little, but really I just like them because they're minty. So my favorite of all time are the Milani Keep It Full glosses. So these are so nice. I have some that are glittery, some that are more of just like a wash of color. My favorite though is this shade. This is Prismatic Peach, and it is just so beautiful. And then my other brand I would recommend is the Colourpop So Juicy glosses. These like throw me back to elementary school, but they are so minty and nice. I will say these are a little bit goopier and thicker than the Milani ones, so if you don't like goopy lip gloss, you'll want to be really careful with how much you use of this, but they are so good. So I have the shade Roundabout and QT. So since I raved about them, I'm going to show you this lipstick in Go Wild and this gloss in Prismatic Peach and put them on my lips. And finally, I like to lock in all of this with a setting spray so that it lasts throughout the day. My all-time favorite setting spray is the Catrice Prime and Fine Multi-Talent Fixing Spray. This is amazing. It makes your makeup last so well. I'm actually out right now, so I will not be able to use this today. I'm trying to work through some of my other setting sprays before I repurchase this one, but this one is my favorite. But for days when I don't need my makeup to last for a super duper long time and I just want everything to melt together and look really smooth, I like to use the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. This one smells so good, so coconutty, and it's just like very refreshing on the face. So what I do is I spray my face and then I kind of dab in anything left over with my beauty blender. So here's everything now that it's all together. If you just want to see up close, I'm no professional makeup artist, but this is what I do to myself pretty much every day. This is what I look like. So I think these products do a really great job of lasting all day in the classroom. So that is it for my everyday teacher makeup. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. As I said before, all these products will be linked in my storefront if you are interested in checking any of them out. You can also find my Instagram down there, as well as my Teachers Pay Teachers and my classroom wish list and anything else that is relevant to this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon.